Let's start with Have Mercy, Just Mercy,
Please,
Have
Lord,
Mercy.
have mercy. No, it's called Just Mercy, not the Corday song.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, Just Mercy. This has probably flown a little under the radar for people as a award season movie. It's only made like 22 million or so right now, and it just kind of feel like the rollout was blown for this movie because it premiered at TIFF, and then they waited until Christmas Day to start the just in LA and New York screenings. It didn't go wide until early January. And the truncated award season, we've talked about it before, uh, that ain't going to work. And sure enough, uh, Jamie Foxx got a SAG nom for supporting actor, but no Oscar love for this. This was a movie that I think had those kind of aspirations. And if you watch Just Mercy, you can certainly see that this movie is a type of movie that's quite friendly to traditional Oscar sensibilities. So it does kind of feel like a misstep there. But I would still encourage people to watch the movie because I think it's quite enjoyable. It's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. He's known for directing Short Term 12, which was a movie that came out back in I think 2013. I actually haven't seen it yet, but listen to this cast: Brie Larson, Rami Malek, Lakeith Stanfield, and it's credited as the first big role for Brie, and that's she is in fact in this movie as well, but it's more of a bit of stunt casting. It's a small role. The lead is Michael B. Jordan, who's playing real life character Brian Stevenson back in 1987 Alabama. He's a young lawyer who is giving legal assistance to death row inmates, one of which is Walter McMillan, played by Jamie Foxx. This is actually based on a true story, and basically it's telling you the kind of the first notable entry in the life of Brian Stevenson, who actually is pretty remarkable, heroic man.
Famous.
Yeah, and quite famous at this point now. And the movie, I think people have talked most about the acting standing out, whereas I think the structure of the movie might not blow you away. And I think that's pretty spot on. It's a movie about the performances and ultimately about the story and the impact or message of this true story, in terms of people's thoughts on the death penalty and thoughts on the justice system, and how it can be broken, especially in the South, especially back in the 80s. And kind of focusing on that story and these performances kind of makes sense. The rest of the movie, it's kind of structured and paced at a pretty predictable or at least familiar way. But I don't necessarily see that as a bad sign because, again, the story is really compelling. Rob Morgan plays another death row inmate. Is fantastic in this, kind of continuing that supporting run he's been on with Mudbound and Last Black Man San Francisco. Really crushed it. O'Shea Jackson Jr. also really good as another inmate. And really those death row scenes between those two and Fox, the way they shoot the cells next to each other and just kind of shooting death row, that's probably the best technical aspect of the movie, and really compelling scenes. And then Michael B. Definitely overshadowed a bit by the better acting from Fox, who he shares scenes with, and as well as Morgan. But still pretty solid at the end of the day. Michael B. is a pretty compelling, charismatic guy, and I think he does the Brian Stevenson story justice. If there's one negative with the storytelling, it's that it's really focused on the plot and story of what Brian does for Walter McMillan. We don't get a whole lot of Brian's non-professional life in this movie. Would have been cool to see this fleshed out a little bit more. And again, Brie Larson is really just kind of on the side, more stunt casting than anything else, but she is good in it. And it's funny, Destin Daniel Cretton, he will next be popping up in 2021 as the director of Shang-Chi for Marvel. So we'll be talking about him in no time. And it's also funny, too. I've been thinking about this movie with a movie I saw even more recently, which is Clemency with Alfre Woodard. This is another movie that was completely botched in its awards role. Alfre Woodard certainly was worthy of a Best Actress nomination, but this movie, as of today, is only playing in 10 theaters. And they just kind of, Neon just kind of like punted on this because they have Parasite too. And they're like, all right, fuck it. I guess we're not going to roll this out for awards. And Clemency is Alfre Woodard plays a death row warden. And this is a movie that's more about,
yeah.
It's more about the the debilitating emotional effects that being around death row has on people, especially the non-prisoners. And it's not a great hang and really dark, but I'd say it's a better film. And Alfred Woodard's really amazing in it. But Just Mercy, I think, is a little bit more crowd pleasing because it's ultimately a much more uplifting story and feeling. But they're interesting as companion films. So I would recommend both. But Just Mercy feels like it's something that could actually be a big streaming hit once it rolls out in a few months.
Yeah, definitely want to check it out. Michael B, Jamie Foxx. Yeah, you can't really go wrong with those two. Michael B was kind of, you think about his career arc, was probably due for a role like this.
Yep.
Where he's playing a lawyer defending somebody. But I definitely want to check it out at some point.